There's a woman in your life, maybe a colleague, a friend, someone you see at events, who does everything right. She apologizes constantly, deflects every compliment, always insists you choose the restaurant. On paper, she's the picture of politeness. And yet somehow, spending time with her feels exhausting. That's because some of the habits we've been taught are polite are actually creating the opposite effect. They're making people uncomfortable. They're wasting time. And in some cases, they're quietly damaging how others perceive us. Nobody will ever tell you this directly. They'll just feel that vague sense of irritation they can't quite name and slowly start declining your invitations. Today, I'm breaking down 7 habits that feel polite but are secretly annoying everyone around you, and showing you what genuinely gracious behavior looks like instead. Because there's a significant difference between performing politeness and actually making people feel at ease. If you're new here, I share content like this every week. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Let's start with one that might sting a little. I don't mind you pick. This phrase feels generous, flexible, easygoing, and every time you say it, you're quietly frustrating the person who asked. Here's what actually happens when you refuse to express a preference. The other person now carries the full weight of the decision. They have to choose something, hope you'll enjoy it, and wonder the entire time if you're secretly disappointed but just too polite to say so. You've handed them all the work while taking credit for being accommodating. And it gets worse. When you consistently refuse to state preferences, people eventually stop asking. They assume you either don't care or aren't being honest with them, neither of which builds the kind of trust that makes for meaningful connection. I've noticed this habit tends to run deep in women who were raised to be agreeable above all else. There's almost a fear that having opinions makes you difficult. But the opposite is true. Having opinions and expressing them gracefully makes you easier to be around because people can actually plan with you rather than around you. What works better, give them something real to work with. Not demanding, not inflexible, just honest. I'd love Italian tonight, or I'm open to a few things, maybe Thai or that Mediterranean place. This is collaboration. The other person can now engage with your actual preferences, offer their own, and you arrive at a decision together. That's considerate. Refusing to participate isn't. Someone tells you they love your dress. What happens next determines more than you think. If you immediately say, "Oh, this? It's ancient. I almost didn't wear it. I don't even know why I still have it." You've just created an awkward moment that the other person now has to manage. What are they supposed to do with that? Argue with you? Reassure you? Pretend the exchange never happened? Deflecting compliments feels like humility, but from the other person's perspective, you've essentially told them their observation was wrong. Their taste can't be trusted. The nice thing they noticed and took the trouble to mention isn't valid. Most people won't compliment you twice after this happens. Not because they're petty, but because it's genuinely unpleasant to have your kindness batted away. There's something else happening here too. When you deflect, you put the other person in a position of having to build you up, validate you, convince you of your own worth. That's a lot of emotional labor to hand someone who just wanted to say something nice. What works better? Thank you. Full stop. That's a complete sentence. If you want to extend the moment, turn the warmth back toward them. Thank you. That's so kind of you to notice. Or, thank you, I actually thought of you when I bought it because you have such beautiful taste. Receiving gracefully is a gift you give the giver. Let people be kind to you without making them work for it. So when are you two getting married? Are you planning on kids? Have you found a job yet? You look great. Have you lost weight? These questions often come from genuine interest. The person asking usually thinks they're showing they care, that they remember details, that they're invested in your life. But what they've actually done is backed someone into a corner. Maybe she's struggling with fertility, and that question about kids just ruined her evening. Maybe he was just laid off and hasn't figured out how to talk about it yet. Maybe she's gained weight due to medication, and your comment about her looking great now implies she looked terrible before. Personal questions put people in an impossible position. They can either share something they're not ready to share, lie to escape the moment, or awkwardly deflect while you both pretend it isn't uncomfortable. None of those options feel good. And the asker rarely realizes they've caused this. They walk away thinking they had a lovely conversation while the other person needs 20 minutes to recover. What works better? Create openings instead of corners. What's been on your mind lately? Or, what are you looking forward to this season? These questions let people share what they actually want to share. They can steer toward work, personal life, hobbies, whatever feels comfortable. The art of elegant conversation is making people feel at ease, not extracting information they haven't volunteered. Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. Sorry to bother you, but... Sorry, just a quick question. Count how many times you apologize in a day. For passing someone in a hallway, for asking a waiter about your order, for existing in a space you have every right to occupy. This habit often gets praised as politeness, but let's look at what it actually communicates. I'm a burden. My presence requires forgiveness. I shouldn't be taking up your time. That's not gracious. That's self-diminishing. And it creates a strange dynamic for the other person too. They now feel obligated to reassure you, no, you're not bothering me at all, which is emotional work they didn't ask for. Chronic apologizers also dilute their real apologies. When everything warrants a sorry, nothing does. The times you genuinely need to apologize, when you've actually inconvenienced someone or made a mistake, your words carry no weight because you've been spending them on nothing. What works better? Replace the unnecessary apology with either a neutral statement or genuine gratitude. Instead of, sorry to bother you, simply say, do you have a moment? Instead of, sorry I'm late, try, thank you for waiting. Instead of, sorry but I disagree, just say, I see it differently. Watch how this small shift changes how people respond to you. You'll come across as more grounded, more confident, more worth listening to, because you're treating yourself as someone who deserves to be in the room. Speaking of deserving to be here, if this is making you think, hit the like button. And tell me in the comments, which of these habits do you catch yourself doing most? I read everything. You're at a dinner party, the host is in the kitchen putting the final touches on everything, and you cannot sit still. What can I do? Let me help. Are you sure? I feel terrible just sitting here. Please put me to work. This feels like good manners, like being a thoughtful guest, like not being one of those people who just expects to be served. But here's what's actually happening. You're interrupting her flow. You're requiring her to stop what she's doing, assess what tasks could be delegated, explain where things are, and manage your feelings about being helpful, all while trying to finish cooking. You've made more work for her, not less. The same thing happens in professional settings. A colleague is working on something, they've got it handled, and you keep circling back with offers to help. At a certain point, those offers stop sounding supportive and start sounding like you don't trust them to manage on their own. What works better? Offer once, clearly and genuinely. I'm happy to help with anything. Just say the word. Then believe their answer. If they say they're fine, trust that and find another way to be a good guest. Be pleasant company. Engage other guests so she doesn't have to entertain while cooking. Compliment what she's creating. Sometimes the most generous thing you can do is simply be a calm, enjoyable presence. Not everything requires doing. This one might surprise you, responding to every message immediately. On the surface, this seems like peak consideration. You're attentive, available. You care so much that you never make anyone wait. But instant response, every time, without fail, creates unintended consequences. First, you're training people to expect this. which means the one time you're genuinely busy and can't respond for a few hours, they think something's wrong. Or worse, they think they've upset you. Second, it signals that you were just waiting for them, with nothing else demanding your attention. That may not be true at all, but perception shapes reality. Third, and this matters, you're constantly fragmenting your own focus. Every message becomes an interruption. You're always half present because you're monitoring for things that need an immediate reply. Being perpetually available isn't generous. It's actually a subtle form of overgiving that serves no one well, including you. What works better? Respond within a reasonable time frame that matches the actual urgency. A casual text doesn't need an answer in 30 seconds. An email can usually wait a few hours. Urgent matters obviously warrant quick attention, but very few things are truly urgent. When you do respond, you'll be fully present instead of firing off distracted half-replies while doing 3 other things. People would rather have your full attention in an hour than a scattered response right now. You've announced you're leaving. That was 18 minutes ago. Somehow, you're still there. Saying goodbye to one more person, getting pulled into one more conversation, circling back for something you forgot, saying, "Okay, I really have to go now," for the 4th time. The prolonged goodbye feels thorough, polite, like you're making sure everyone feels acknowledged. But watch what it actually does to the room. The energy becomes awkward. People don't know whether to engage with you or not. Are you staying? Going? Half going? Should they start a new conversation, or would that be rude? There's a limbo quality to it that makes everyone slightly uncomfortable. And truthfully, it can come across as needing more attention on your exit than the exit warrants. A graceful entrance matters, but a graceful exit is just as important. And it should be clean. What works better? When you decide to leave, commit. Do a quick, warm round if you want to say goodbye to specific people, but keep it brief. "I'm heading out. It was so lovely to see you. Let's catch up properly soon." Then actually walk toward the door. If someone catches you and starts a conversation, it's completely appropriate to say, "I'm so glad we got a moment to talk. Let me know when you're free to continue this. I really do need to go." Then go. People will remember you left with elegance. They won't remember or miss the 20 minutes of lingering. Here's what I want you to take away from today. True sophistication and genuine politeness aren't about rigidly following rules or performing certain behaviors because you've been told they're correct. They're about actual consideration for other people's comfort, time, and experience. Sometimes that means breaking the polite rules you grew up with. It means making a decision instead of endlessly deferring. It means accepting a compliment with grace. It means letting people decline your help without guilt-tripping them. It means responding to messages on your own timeline rather than being constantly on call. The most elegantly mannered people I've observed aren't the ones following every traditional etiquette rule. They're the ones who make others feel genuinely comfortable, who read social situations accurately, and who adapt their behavior to what actually serves the moment. That's the kind of sophistication worth cultivating. If you found this helpful, share it with a friend who would appreciate it. Here's the thread connecting all 7 of these habits. They prioritize the appearance of politeness over the substance of it. Real graciousness isn't about following rules or performing certain behaviors because someone once told you they were proper. It's about making the people in front of you feel genuinely comfortable, respected, and at ease. Sometimes that means breaking the rules you grew up with, stating a preference instead of deferring, accepting a compliment instead of arguing, letting your help be declined without protest, taking your time to respond, exiting cleanly when you say you will. The woman who moves through the world with quiet confidence and warmth isn't running through a mental checklist of polite behaviors. She's simply paying attention to what actually serves the moment. and acting accordingly. That's the difference between etiquette and elegance is always worth cultivating. If this shifted something for you, share it with someone who'd appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.